Hello, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of Life of a Travel Writer. This week we have Jane Bertch, author of The French Ingredient. Let's dive in.
My name is Jane Bertch. I'm originally from Chicago. You can probably guess from my accent, I'm not French, but I have spent the last 25 years of my life in Europe and 20 in Paris. I'm a career changer. I started the first half of my career working in banking. Then I moved to something entrepreneurial, which we can talk more in depth about how that happened. Um, and following that, wrote a book which came out last April. So it's been quite an interesting, I guess, 30 years of a career, which shocks me because I was talking to somebody recently and she said, I've been working for 30 years. And I thought to myself, oh God, she must be so old.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, I realize I've been working for, yeah, just very close to 30 years now.
Yeah,
So,
which is amazing because you always think about it, you're like, oh, like it doesn't seem that long ago. And then you're like, and then you start to count the years and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
And
absolutely.
And I feel too like when you move around, it also changes it because some people work at the same company for 30 years, but like you went from Chicago, you went to London, and then you went to Paris, and then
Yes.
you started the bakery, which is
Yes.
amazing. But how did you, what I really want to talk about is so you were in banking and then you started the bakery, but then at what point did you go, oh, I could write a book about this?
Okay, so that's very interesting. And to answer that question, let me back up
Mhm.
just a little. So I started in banking, very, very focused on banking. And due to a few life events, difficult ones, I decided that was not where I was meant to be, which was quite startling for me and everyone else because I'd worked so hard to get to where I was. Um, Decided to do something entrepreneurial and I started La Cuisine, which I'll say we're a bakery school. So
Yes.
we don't
Yes.
produce anything that we would sell. People have
Mhm.
to, it's almost like indentured servitude.
Mhm.
They
You gotta make
they
it
have to
yourself.
make their own in a beautiful way. Um, and so decided to do that. And then, when you have a business, you have lots of ebbs and flows, and those are okay. I mean, coral doesn't grow in still waters. You need agitation. You need to have difficult moments. But the most difficult one was COVID.
Mhm.
And, that put a lot of things in question for all of us. That was a global uniter of trauma. But,
Mhm.
good things can come out of trauma. And through that process of me trying to remind myself of where I've come from, what I've done, how nothing has been easy. I've always felt like it's harder for me than everyone else. We all know that story.
Mhm.
I decided I would turn to writing at a very difficult time to try to remind myself of what I've been through and how I can overcome obstacles. And that's really kind of how the book started. I wanted this book to be not a self-help book, but a reminder of anyone can do anything. There's no secret, there's no magic sauce. I don't have anything better than anyone else. I've maybe tolerated risk a bit more. I've been okay to fail and I get up again. And either that's strategy or it's just really because I'm very hard-headed.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how the book evolved. Very long answer to say that's where the book came from.
Okay, so then you started using it more as a therapy, just to remind yourself of what you were capable of and what you've already been through. So then at what point did you start joining writing groups, or at what point did you go, okay, I could probably make something of this?
Okay, fabulous question. And this is, I will, not to scare you to death, but you'll hear this theme. I believe in miracles and the magic of the universe.
Yes.
So when I guess, Courtney, I kind of always thought that I wanted to write a book, but I don't read fiction. I hate to
Mhm.
say it. I hate to admit it. I love books that make me feel like I'm learning. That's a very narrow thing to say because fiction is incredible for creativity.
Mhm.
But I love business books. right? So I kind of thought one day maybe I'd write a business book. And here I have time on my hands during COVID. I wanted to write, also to remind myself of where I'd been, but I had extra time on my hands. So I started writing and I'd write, 2 pages and I think it sounds just so eloquent. And then I go back and read it and it sounded like I had a, you know, third grade education. I mean,
Hmm.
it was awful.
We've all been there.
It's like when you are singing in the shower, you feel like you
Yes.
sound good until you hear yourself. Um, and I ended up calling, I do have the benefit of a few writers in my life. So I ended up
Okay.
calling them to say, like, I'd love to have a writing coach. I want to learn. I don't like when I feel like I'm struggling at something. So one of them recommended a lady, and we started emailing back and forth. And I kind of told her the project I was working on. It was a passion project, but also something to keep me occupied and hopeful during this, very scary time. So after I think the third or fourth email exchange, she said, "Well, what is the business?" And I told her it was La Cuisine, and she said, "Oh my God, I've been there 3 times."
Oh, okay.
Isn't that so? I thought,
Yes.
okay, here we go.
Hmm.
So went through the process with her, and she was wonderful in, like, how do you story tell,
Hmm.
and the craft behind that, and how do you write dialogue, and how do you transition, how do you put 25 years
Hmm.
into a few pages. So she really challenged me to think about, okay, well, if you had chapters, what would they look like, things I never imagined.
Hmm.
So we did all that in the form of a proposal, because that seemed to be like the best way to organize my mind. And then June 2021 came and the world started to open. And she said, "Jane, okay, so what are you going to do with this now?" And I said, "Well, I'll just put it away and I'll come back to it one day." And and she said, "You know what? I actually work very closely with an agent. Would you mind if I showed it to her just to see what she says?" And that happened, and that my agent, who is now my agent Gail,
Hmm.
picked me up and decided to help me turn this into a book.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and because what I really love about it, because I'm a voracious reader. Anything I can get my hands on, I am reading. So I understand people who say, "Oh, I don't really like fiction," or "I don't like," because it's not meant for everybody. Like you are either a voracious reader or you have a pathway that you like to follow and like what teaches you and what helps you in your career. And that's what I really liked about this book was that it was career based, because a lot of the travel memoirs and things I've written about are people who are either overcoming addiction or a loss of a loved one or they're chasing something. And I really liked the idea of it just being about the business and yourself and what you're able to accomplish, which I thought was great. And when you started working with your writing coach, was this someone that you paid or was this someone that you were just doing a collaboration with because you guys are friends?
No, I absolutely paid her.
Okay.
Very cautious about having it's her business, and I
Hmm.
wanted to respect that. So I absolutely did pay her to help me.
Okay, nice. And then during that coaching session, did she also have you join writers groups or anything like that? Or were you just exchanging pages with her and having her look at them?
I was just exchanging pages with her. Um, I also have to tell you, Courtney, I'm incredibly private and very
Hmm.
introverted. So joining a writers group where I would have to present and share my work, I can feel my heart racing just thinking about it. I did, however, what I will say is one of the groups that I joined on my own accord is called the London Writers Workshop.
Uh-huh.
I want to say that's it. Um, and they started up as a result of COVID.
Okay.
It is basically a community. I'd encourage anybody that wants to just dedicate time to writing. It's a community that they all log on and they write.
Hmm.
I think it opens with a little bit of inspiration, a quote, and then it's like 50 minutes of dedicated writing. And the rule is either you write or you do nothing.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So I did join that, and that's still a really active, thriving community. And that was great for me to like have the time
Hmm.
to like dedicate time. But that's all I did.
Okay, very nice. And then so when your agent picked you up, did she what is it? Put it into when she put it out for submission, did you have like a long list of how many people she thought would want to purchase it, or what was that experience like for you?
Um, so this is where I remind myself that I'm not a writer. I'm a
Mhm.
person in business that happens to write.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, no, let me take that back. We're
Yeah.
all writers. We're all writers. I just never thought to do it professionally.
Hmm.
Um, so I did not know what the heck was going on in the
Hmm.
background. Plus, I was also at a point where I'm trying to get a business up and running that's been
Hmm.
closed for 18 months. Um, Nor is writing my trade. So she did. If I look back through my messages, I'm sure she had sent me a list of here's the publishers and the editors that I think could be interested, which is all meaningless to me.
Hmm.
Uh, I know some of the big names, but I don't know. I didn't even know what an imprint was,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So she really managed that whole process, and thank God. I mean, that's what she does for a living.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's not easy, and a lot of writers go into it not knowing what like the behind the scenes of getting a literary agent is one thing, which is also very, very
My God,
difficult. But then
yeah,
to walk in to get it looked at by publishers and then to go out on submission, and a lot of it, even in the first 6 months, is like no, 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 like maybe rewrite this, and then nah, no, sorry, and then finally you have someone who picked it up. So from the time she started putting it out on submission, how long until you had your deal or like first offer?
Hmm. I would say it was probably a month and a half.
Oh, okay, so quick.
I would say it was rather quick. Now, again,
Okay.
in an industry that I know very little about,
Hmm.
um, and I want to say this carefully because it is, obviously we need books,
Hmm.
and how
Sure.
they get born is a really complex thing. And I felt that because I know that I fell upon the right people,
Hmm.
and that made me happy, but it also made me humble because I know a lot of people that are extraordinary writers that have not fallen upon the right people.
Hmm.
And I hate that. And it's not something that I see how to fix. But um, my agent it, is a extraordinary woman that has extraordinary connections. So
Hmm.
people listen when she calls to say, I have a book I want to show you.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get her. I know a lot of, again, just wonderful writers that have not, they're still trying to get an agent.
Hmm.
And everything is so niche. And now you have the pressure of how many followers do you have and
Hmm.
what's your social media presence and all those things that it's complex. It leaves me feeling complexed about how publishing happens.
And was that something that they had asked you about your following
Oh
with
yeah.
you? Yeah,
Oh
they did
yeah.
ask. Okay, so that was
Yeah.
a conversation. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. And they were, I think about my story, and I know very well this story would not have happened were it not for La Cuisine. Otherwise,
Hmm.
there is no story,
Yeah.
right? It's just me floating around Paris. And while I'd love to do that, that's not been my life. It's been the struggles of running a business. So that gave it a little uniqueness,
Hmm.
but that also gave the publisher some assurance that
Hmm.
there are clients that come here that could be interested in the story. So yes, they were very focused on what the business profile was and
Hmm.
who was focused on it and how many followers. Because at that point, I didn't have any personal social media.
No, it's just the business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now I have my own.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, they were the business is the reason this happened. In fairness, yeah.
Okay.
So
And was there a lot of back and forth with the contract for publishing? Like, because I don't know, because I read it on Kindle, but did you get to do an audiobook, and like, did you get to record the audiobook, or did you have to hire somebody to do that?
great questions. Again, this is I know, and I do see it's so different for
Hmm.
other writers. I was not involved in the contract, nor did I want to be. And I
Oh,
have
okay.
well, that's what my agent is there for. That's why she's
Hmm.
getting a commission, is to represent me the best way possible. And I had full confidence in that.
Okay.
Um, I think if writing were my profession, I probably would have been more involved in the nitty-gritty.
Hmm.
But I also told my agent and my publisher, I have a job and a business already. I
Hmm.
can't take on another one full time, which is publishing books.
Yeah, it is. It's a full time. It
It
is.
is a full
It's a
time. It
career in
is
its own. Yeah.
absolutely, it's not, people, what I think is wonderful is when you have a passion and then you can turn it into a business, even though that's a double-edged sword. That's the best
Hmm.
way to kill a passion sometimes. But when embark upon writing as a profession, it is relentless.
Hmm.
You never leave your office,
No.
right? In some capacity. So I wasn't involved in the contract. My agent, she checked things with me, but I wasn't reading every line. I really had full confidence that she would represent me properly.
Okay. So,
Was it, there was a second part of your question? Oh,
yes, did you do the audiobook? Yeah.
um, I did not.
Okay.
I did not. And in hindsight, that's something that I would have pushed for.
Hmm.
And the person who did my audiobook is wonderful. Her name is
Hmm.
Barry. They don't tell you the people in my and for my experience. What they did was they send me audio files of people talking.
Yes, they have to audition. I've heard that
Yes,
before. Yeah, they don't tell you who it is.
they
They
don't tell
just
me who it
send
is.
you an example. Yeah.
Right. So they sent me, I think, three audio files to listen to
Okay.
different voices.
Yeah.
And that is the most bizarre exercise I've ever been through, is
Hmm.
choosing my voice. And isn't that poetic? Because I've been still trying to find my voice for years. um, but finding somebody who's going to read my story, and then it's funny. You listen to somebody, and I'm like, she sounds old. I'm not that old. Or, you make all these assumptions just
Yeah, because you have
listening to
no
a
idea.
voice.
You can't see them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I sent it to a few friends that know me well, and I'm like, who sounds like me? And in the end, the person I chose, I'm really happy with, and she does it beautifully. I did ask, should I read it? And the response I got back was, these are professionals that do this. And I respect that. And I didn't push. In hindsight, if there were to ever be another audiobook, I would read it myself. That I would enforce.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, so that's the thing is I've talked to other writers and sometimes with their publishing contract, they really have to fight to be the one to read it. And then
Mm,
sometimes the publishing company automatically makes them the person that is reading it. So depending on who you publish it with is like a whole conversation in its own on if you're going to be the
right.
one to read the audiobook.
Right. And I had no clue. I had no clue, Courtney. Like even I was surprised the book through all this was coming out hardcover.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't know why. I just assumed this would always be a paperback. And then they're like,
Ah, okay.
it's going to come out hardcover this year and then paperback that year. And I thought, hardcover?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was a bit removed from the process, I'll admit.
Yeah. Yeah, because they always do hardcover first because they make more money that way. And then they do, if it runs well, they usually do another version and it's paper. So, or it depends. They
So
might do
I
vice
should have been
versa.
consulting
Yeah.
with you
Yeah,
3 years ago.
I do a lot of research. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it's crazy because I do. As a writer, and I've always spent a lot of time being interested in the industry, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. And now I'm finally sitting down and doing it. But a lot of people all the time, they don't even know. They don't even know like that the publishing house doesn't do your marketing. Like
Oh,
they,
yes,
yeah.
that's a whole nother subject.
They're like, oh, don't they do the marketing? And I was like, no, like just be
No,
fully aware, like before you even try to attempt, if you don't want to talk about this book for the rest of your life, don't do it. So
right.
that's a big thing. And okay, so when you signed the contract deal, how many drafts do you think did you have to go through before it was ready to be published?
Okay, so we had the big submission date where we had to turn in the manuscript, and I think that was maybe 9 or 12 months after I signed the contract.
Hmm.
Um, and then we had the first pass.
Hmm.
No, sent that in. Oh my God. Sent in the manuscript. Then it came back for first edits, updated it, sent it in again, and then it went to the another editorial team that
Hmm.
went through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, the line editing. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Hmm.
that was the most painful um,
Experience. Yeah.
experience ever. And my friends that are writers kept reminding me, Jane, they're here to save you,
Hmm.
not piss you off.
Hmm.
So that happened twice, and
Okay.
then it was ready for print.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. So then, so you, and how much of the book did you have written before you submitted the manuscript?
Mm, I would say maybe 30%.
Oh, okay. So you had a small chunk before you
Yeah.
went into the
Now,
12 months. Okay.
yeah. Now again, I think every experience has got to be different.
Hmm.
I am an unknown. I am not somebody who's been writing as a profession. So I'm sure there was a bit of nervousness around, okay, can she do this?
Hmm.
And how's it going to turn out? I did keep my writing coach with me
Hmm.
through the whole process. So she was very engaged. Um, and in the proposal that finally went to the publishers, the original proposal, it was miniature chapters.
Hmm. Okay.
So they could see what the story would look like and have confidence that it could evolve into something.
Hmm. And because you do mention your two partners, the one that you started off with, and then the one I believe that you might still be with. But
Mm-hmm.
at some point, did they try to add in like a love angle into the story? Yes, of course.
Yes. And this is so topical. I'll tell you why, Courtney. And so, not to just waffle on, um, I had a coffee with somebody yesterday that I met right before the book came out. And we met bizarrely in a hotel lobby. And she's just the most fabulous woman. And she's an expat that has lived all over the world. And so that's why I was remarking that, yes, the book has meant different things to different people. And for her, it was the finding yourself in a new city angle
Hmm.
that really touched her. And she's also very private. And she said, Jane, I want to tell you the one thing that really, um, I just thought that you handled it so respectfully is your personal life.
Hmm.
And I said to her, well, I always believe we all have a right to tell our story, but not everyone else's. And I've tried to respect that through the book.
Hmm.
So, having said that, I did say that there were several areas where they wanted more,
Hmm.
particularly on the personal life. And I pushed back on that a lot for that reason.
Yeah.
And I wanted, of course, there's always more to the story. You can't put your whole life in a few pages.
Hmm.
But one, again, that's my story. It's not something that they necessarily want to be shared. And two, sometimes there is nothing but a respectful relationship that is change direction. There's not a drama, nor does there need to be. And I think that was hard for them. I think they would have rather have had a little salacious drama. And I couldn't give them that because one, it didn't exist.
Yeah, no, and I love that. And I love that you like just you kindly because when I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna go into like the relationship side and how this affected." And then you didn't. You just crossed over it, and I was like, "Yes." But I was like, "Oh, I know they gave her pushback. Like I
Oh,
know
yes.
just from every book
Yes.
I've ever read and everyone I've ever talked to, like I know that was like a real hard
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
because I know they want because everyone wants to fall in love in Paris and start a business and have this great relationship. And I think it is important, but I don't think it always needs to be in your writing. Like I don't see that. And I really loved it. I love that you didn't go into too much detail and you mentioned it because it was important, but then we just moved on and we kept with the business and everything. And I really, really love that.
Well, thank you. I feel like I need to introduce you to Riva because that's
Yes.
exactly what she said yesterday. And she was like, I'm glad we didn't do that because I tend to see that and I don't want to go down this path, but I'm just going to say it. She was like, I tend to see that in women's stories,
All the time.
and I didn't want that. And I
Hmm.
was so happy you didn't go there.
Yeah. Yeah, because
So I,
I've read a lot of male travel writing memoirs as well, and some they don't even mention their wives
no,
or kids or anything like that. So
no.
yeah, so I find it very.
So maybe at least I have you two. I'm sure there are other readers. Uh, I don't read my reviews of my book because I know that's a whole nother
Yeah,
can
you
of
shouldn't do
worms.
that. They tell you you shouldn't do that. Yes.
But I'm sure there's other readers that are very annoyed that I didn't.
Yeah. But then that just means they were looking for something different, and that's
You're
okay. Like
right.
I do, and I love romance books, and I and Paris letters, like Janice, who also lived in Paris, like, and her, she, went to be an artist, and then she ended up meeting her partner, and then they end up moving back to Canada afterwards. But like I was looking for that at that time. Like I was looking for, a new life with a new partner, and that's what I was looking for. But like when I picked this book up, I was really glad it was just business, because it's not very often you have a female travel writing with just business and not having the family aspect and everything like that. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And then, um, okay, so you take the 12 months to do the first draft. You go through two rounds of edits, line edits, and then the book comes out. And what is your plan for marketing? Because you already have a business. So was a lot of the marketing involved in the business, or were you like, oh, maybe I should do this separately?
I didn't know what the heck I was doing,
Okay.
Courtney. Again, I should have known you 4 years ago. Um, I tried my best through the business, but I kept saying to myself, why the hell did I write a book? And I was very ashamed about talking about it.
Oh.
So that was really hard for me. Because, also, I don't know if this will ring true, not ring true. I don't know if you'll grasp this, but La Cuisine, I've always been behind the scenes for
Mhm.
15 years. And La Cuisine has done well. And I talk about her as a separate entity because La Cuisine is not mine. She is whoever is in the kitchen for the day.
Mhm.
And that's why she's done well, because she's built a community. She's very extroverted. She's the opposite of me. So I felt very hesitant, even though I knew I had to, using La Cuisine's platform to then talk about Jane, because it felt so
Mhm.
splashy and not who I am.
Mhm.
Um, but I did what I needed to do, and I did it again my way. This was also at the tail end around Emily in Paris.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of suggestion from the publisher on using that type of marketing angle,
Mhm.
which is not at all who I am,
Mhm.
nor what I want it to be. So there was a bit of pushback on not, no, I'm not going to take pictures with a beret and wear heels. I mean, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's not, it doesn't fit the image. Yeah.
no, so I did the marketing that I felt comfortable with, which again, I hope people see that in La Cuisine social media and now mine. I don't like showing things. I like sharing.
Hmm.
So my marketing angle was very much about here's the things that you can discover in the book
Hmm.
through my experiences, which are small. It's just here in Paris. This is not a book about France. And that was the marketing I tried to do is, just talk about the culture that I've had the honor of living in.
Hmm. Okay,
So
so
it's
you
a
tried to
very
really.
long-winded answer. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because it's true. When you go into marketing and you don't know, like, how are you supposed to, if everything's always been about the baking school, how do you then turn it into, here, let me promote myself? Like
Mhm.
that's very rough waters to have to navigate, because you said you didn't have social media and everything like that. So it's very, very difficult. But do you sell the book at the school?
So that has been a challenge because I only have a European rights on this book. Sorry, American US rights.
Ah, okay. US rights.
Again, another thing I've had to learn and navigate. So getting it here
Yeah.
in Europe is actually very costly for me.
Hmm.
So I have not sold it continually. I know my
Okay.
publisher's not happy about that, but the local bookstores, and
Oh,
who
they do
again,
charity.
that's their business. I
Hmm.
promote them and ask people to please buy and support them.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no, because Shakespeare and Company is now by um the church. Do you sell it there?
At Shakespeare and Co.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it. They
Oh, they
carry
do
it.
have it. Okay, very nice.
Yes,
Yes, because it
yes,
is an English
yes,
booking store. Yes.
yes.
Which I would have loved. I wish she would have wrote a memoir because I've read historical fiction about her who started the original Shakespeare and Co. And I
Yeah,
would have loved a real business memoir from
I
her.
know.
I would have died for that. But
Yes.
I have to do the historical fiction ones, but which are very good. I think the Bookshop Keeper by Maria Benedict, I believe is her last name, is was very good. I did enjoy that
Okay.
much. Yes. But okay, well that's great because you do work with local businesses as well. If you can't sell it at the school, at least you can sell it with
Well, yeah,
local.
I recommend where, again, and that's their business and that's how they
Hmm.
pay their rent is selling
Hmm.
books. So I tell people to please go support them. They do carry it.
Hmm.
I hope still. I'm not involved in that, but I send them clients all the time.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to thank you so much for talking with me. Do you have, I know you said you're not a travel reader, but do you have a book that you would recommend for women who are interested in different genres or something that you loved?
Oh my God, Courtney, that's such a hard
I
question.
know, because I always ask them to recommend a travel memoir that they really love, but you're in the business side, so let's see what you got.
Okay. Um, the last book that I really loved was Clear Thinking by Shane Parrish.
Oh, okay. I heard that was good. All right.
It's very
Check
good.
that out. Okay.
And I will say that any reading makes you travel,
Yes.
right? And it makes you travel. In my case, I guess my traveling is to the future version of what I'd like to be.
Hmm.
So it's time travel, my business
Yeah.
books.
Yes, I love that. That's very nice. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank you,
talk to
Courtney.
me. Yes, we will have to do a part two. I forgot to ask. Are you planning on writing any more books? Or do you think this is a one and done
Ooh.
for the moment?
So the next part two, when we talk, I'll tell you how the book has helped me evolve into another version of myself.
Hmm.
So I have been tinkering in my mind about another book, but it'll be markedly different. It'll be maybe the book that I really intended to write.
Oh, I
So,
love that. Okay, yes, we'll
yeah.
definitely have to do a part two. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in for another week of Life of a Travel Writer. I'm your host, Courtney Cardini. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.